Hey, aloha everyone. Michelle Melendez with blossominnerwellness.com and standtogetherhawaii.com. If you're not on standtogetherhawaii.com, please go to Stand Together Hawaii. That's how we say it on the mainland, and Hawaii is how we say it here on the islands.com, and join our email list because I am putting out lots of emails sending people about freedom stuff that we're doing, not just here on the islands, but stuff that you can also model in your own area. This is also on the Voice of Kona Radio, 100.5 FM. Mahalo so much for listening. And today I get to interview the man, John J. Singleton, who is founder of Ace of Coins. And just a quick little plug for Ace of Coins. If you guys want to learn how to lower or eliminate your taxes in a lawful way, if you want to learn how to license your biometric data, your image that is being used by big tech to make money for them, you want to learn how to license that. If you want to learn how to buy Bitcoin tax-free, check out aceofcoins.com, ACEOFCOINS.com. John, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle. This is going to be interesting. It is a compelling subject.
So what happened was I emailed John because I had some questions about my PMA, and also I had a big question about the CBDCs, which everybody is really concerned about. And I'm just going to start with reading what he had sent me, and we'll go from there. He wrote to me, if using currency eventually requires technology and the currency is available on the blockchain and no other currency, people will simply create other means of trade. But for those who don't, the blockchain-based currency will be subject to taxation, not as a step function, such as quarterly or annually, but in real time, moment by moment basis. Not only will income be taxed this way, but the tax will be imposed on I'm just going to say, the climate change propaganda, such as use of carbon, so that your use of currency will be taxed and your carbon footprint. And also the tax will be imposed upon devices and animals, because your dog or your cat breathes oxygen and releases carbon dioxide, in animals such as your phone, your pet, your television, your activities, your car, pool, what you do, etc. It will be insane if it is not already, but this is what we need for people to finally wake up and say they have had enough and then refuse to participate. I love the refuse to participate. I'm on board with that. And then you wrote, that's my hope anyway. So John,
Yeah,
can you elaborate on this? This is such a good
yeah.
topic.
There are many facets there, but people talk about freedom all the time and they're focused on the tax system and they don't understand you don't even know what freedom is. You don't even know what property
That's
rights are. You don't even know that privacy is a property right. Where is that? People they don't understand what private associations are already a member of. You're probably a member of 20 or 30 of them. You don't even know.
Yeah.
And what's more astounding is that people aren't working together. They're individually fighting this system that they created. Their money is being used to create this system, and so they're going to be defeated. You don't have a chance. Sorry. You're not working together. You're not collaborating with each other. And like we were talking about just before we started the recording, there's this Hawaii plan, right? Well, the financial
Hawaii General
interests,
Plan.
yeah, the financial interests that are outside of Hawaii, they can care less about you. They just want to
I want
crush
to
that.
say one thing about the Hawaii General Plan. I looked up the word stakeholder in the Hawaii General Plan is written 47 times. The word partner with the government is written 24 times, and the word partner with private and nonprofit agencies is written 20 times, and the words partner or collaborate with homeowners and general population is written zero times for us, you
So
guys.
this
We
is
have a
the
zero standing in
definition.
that.
This is the definition of foreign financial interests that have hijacked a resource that you paid for. What the heck is that? Your state, your executive branch of government, your judicial branch, and your legislative has been hijacked, and they're telling you. And what are you doing? Complaining about it. And they're laughing
Well, we're
at you.
standing up. I'm like making a fuss. We have until
This
April
is
1st to make comments.
no,
But what I
no,
loved about what you
no,
when
no,
we started
no.
is we have to make our own plan.
Stop complaining about their plan and make your own. And it's your resource. Stop fighting your own money. Do your own
I
thing.
love that.
Use some
I
creativity.
love
Work
that.
with your neighbors. Work with your business partners. Get supplies. You need to go. What is my plan going to be? Oh, well, let's see. I need food. I need clean water, and I need energy. Well, we can make our own energy, guys. Come on, just start doing it. We got off-the-shelf technology. You can do it yourself. You can all work together. Start a business doing it. Start working
Yeah.
together. Ignore those idiots. Ignore them. What are they going to do? At some point, when you have access to food and water and energy, what are they going to do? They can't control you that way anymore. What they can shoot you? Okay. But you got to work
Yeah, I will.
together. Have your own
Absolutely.
plan.
Absolutely.
Look, start
I love it.
if you don't know what to put in writing, here's what I've been telling people for several years. Use your homeowners association instead of using it to allow the psychopaths to ruin your lives. Get rid of them one way or another. And that's a subject we can talk about some other time, but you get rid of them on your HOA board of directors and put people in there that, first of all, don't want to be there. This is the key. You got to think.
That that's
Put
so
people,
funny.
put Ralph, okay, the nice guy that's in your neighborhood, the nice old guy, Ralph, okay, whose wife died last year. He's the nicest guy ever. Say, hey, Ralph, we need you to run the HOA. He'll be like, no, you're gonna run the HOA for 1 year. Yeah, you see, that's what you do. You put people that don't want to be there. You run the HOA, okay. You take the charter and you modify it so that it's a business, and you start commandeering the resources that your neighbors want. It's already
I love it.
written.
I love it.
It's a
Yeah, it's
lien
already
too.
there.
Yeah, because the HOA is already a lien on your property collectively, and you basically have a government.
True.
You have a built-in
True.
government. Why are we not using it? Instead of complaining about what they're doing, just ignore them. Do what you want to do. Yeah, that's where we have the
I
power,
love
working
it.
together.
That's exactly us.
Have your
That's
look.
exact. We have
If
to
you
work together.
look at football, you tell me offense, defense, whatever team has it's their turn for offense, defense, do you think they have a plan or not?
Oh, absolutely.
They
Absolutely.
all
Both sides.
do.
Both sides. They all
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
And that plan is based on previous games. They actually watch videos of previous games. I mean, they even do this in high school. Why the heck aren't we doing this? Why are we working alone
Well,
like idiots
well,
and
the thing
filing
is we,
documents?
yeah, well, we've been programmed to do it the other way, but now we have a plan. So this is it. So you guys are watching, especially on the Big
Start
Island. We're
small.
going to be creating our own plan.
What's your first plan? Check this out.
Exactly.
Imagine like, okay, so you're in Hawaii, the best weather ever, right? So maybe you guys don't care about the weather, but imagine if you got together and you said, look, we like in Florida, this would be easy to do. You could punch a hole in the side of your building, side of your wall here, and you could run a pipe into the ground and you could run it out about 100 feet or so and structure it in a way that pipes in cold air in the summer and warm air in the winter. Now in Florida, it's easy to do. So you're just gonna have a little. You could do this, and it'd be very nice. It wouldn't mess up your house or anything like that. It'd be perfectly fitted. It wouldn't be humid air and all this. There's a way to do this, right? And share
Yeah,
that with
there is.
everybody. And so you're using less energy. Come on, guys, it's so simple.
I
Think this
love
is
it.
so
I love it.
simple.
You know what I love? Because it's so, it's like they keep having us think that what they say is the rule of law, and we can't do our own thing. But that's actually what our creator gave us rights for, is to do our own thing. So standing up for those is just doing what it is that's going to take care of your we call it kuleana here, your responsibility. What is yours to do? So again, and I've been telling people, prepare with food, prepare at least 3 to 6 months of food, water, get a generator, just have things ready, because
Learn
we
how to use
can't
a
be
ham
relying
radio.
on these people.
Get a
We
ham
can't.
radio and
Yes, hand
learn how to use
radio,
a ham radio. Yeah.
things like that.
And do it now. Learn how to use it. Have fun with your neighbors. Talk to them. Talk to
Yeah,
people around the
not last
world.
minute. Not
Because
last minute. Not when the
shortwave,
grid goes down.
exactly, you won't know what to do. Get on the channels, get on the subscriptions, listen to the police, listen to the emergency broadcast, find out what's going on. This is how you find out what's
Mhm.
going on. You get intel. Do this. It's not hard. And then realize that you have access to every broadcast around the entire Earth. All shortwave
Mhm.
frequencies are bounced back off of the inner side of the atmosphere. So they're always going to be preserved. You just have to grab the signal. So you get access to all this intel, this information. Now, there are some broadcasts that are actually encrypted. And I'm sure there's probably a way to break the encryption. The police have them, by
Mhm.
the way.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you may want to figure that out too, right? Look at 3D printing. We can make stuff. We don't have to go to
Okay,
Walmart and get
3D
new stuff.
printing is
Yeah,
freaking magic.
it's amazing. I mean, you could look.
It
What
is
do you
absolutely amazing.
look what the people did in Cuba? Okay, with the embargo, they couldn't bring in new cars, so they got stuck in the 50s. And look what they did with they just figured stuff out. They got a hammer out and they pounded some metal and they fixed a part, right? Now we got 3D printing. How much easier is it now? So
Oh
what
my gosh.
what inspired this conversation is the idea of the central currency being placed on some technology that's an immutable public ledger, the blockchain, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so check this out.
CBDCs, yeah.
So yeah, so y'all are downloading these apps everywhere you go on your phone. You're using your phone to pay for coffee. You're giving your kids phones. That's just stupid. You're first of all, you tell them don't talk to strangers, then you give them a cell phone when they're 7 years old. How dumb is that? And you wonder why they resent yours. I mean, when I was in high school, just high school, I may have had a network of friends and people I spoke with of about 12 people. Imagine what your kid has with a cell phone.
Exactly. I had
How
less
is he
than
going to
that.
focus? It's
Are
your
you talking?
fault. It's your fault. Okay, so my
Well,
point, I
I,
get,
I liked the people I hung out with, and that was it.
yeah, well, I mean, but see, you're limited by nature. You're limited in your communications because of physical limitations. When you bring in new technology, it's just like
Hmm.
juice.
Yes,
If
you're
you
right.
eat an orange, there's only so many oranges you can eat. But if you squeeze them and put them into a jar, look how glycemic that is, right? How much sugar can you douse that then down there? All right, so my point is that you are allowing yourselves to be trained in this technology that's going to be
Hmm.
your prison warden. In fact,
Absolutely.
I will just tell
Absolutely.
you right now, if you're using your phone for everything, you're already owned. They own you. Sorry.
Absolutely 100%. So what I would suggest, and I always love to give action steps, is get in nature. I love to walk around and walk into our farm and just I always one of the things I always say is I look up at the sky. Like when was last time, if you're watching this, when was last time you really looked up at the sky and just breathed and just slowed your breath down and just watched the clouds? Like when was the last time you did that? When was the last time you put your feet on the ground and maybe you're just like, Michelle, it's winter and it's snowing out here. But literally, when was the last time you just went outside and just let yourself feel the cold and breathed? It's us getting back into nature, and it's us. When was the last time you really had a conversation with someone, both of you had your phones off,
You know, a
and you
lot of
actually
times,
went to get in?
Michelle, a lot of times what I'll do is if you guys are talking to me on the phone, like a consultation, I'll be outside of my bathing suit pulling weeds in the garden and I'm talking to you because I want to be out in the dirt. I want to have that frequency in my body, right? I don't want to be in air condition all the time. Sometimes I do, it's Florida, but yeah, you want to do that. But look, you're being trained to use technology that is going to be used against you. The cryptography,
Absolutely.
I've said this before, you guys can check it out. It is a munition in the US military's munitions list. Cryptography is.
What
What does
what
that mean?
is what is yeah, what is that? What is
Cryptography,
that?
okay, the mathematical a mathematical process is a military weapon. We call that cryptography. A math function. Just like think of it like this. If you're familiar with if you remember from high school the quadratic equation that was used that you were taught how to solve certain algebraic functions that you couldn't solve
Okay.
otherwise, right? With substitution and all that. Use the
Mhm.
quadratic equation. Well, cryptography is
Boy, that was years ago.
yeah, well, cryptography is based on that. It's based on basic algebra and solving equations. And so that technology, that mathematical understanding is a weapon that's listed specifically in the US military's list of munitions, right next to bullets. Think of it like a bullet. And it's in your son's hand, it's in your daughter's hand, and you
Mhm.
gave it to them. So if
Mhm.
it's a weapon, what kind of weapon is it? Let me explain. A weapon is a weapon or a precursor to a weapon. It's going to be, or let's call it a strategy, a military battle strategy, reconnaissance and commandeering communications. What is your phone doing? It's listening to
That's
you.
exactly what it's doing.
It's
Yeah. Oh
grabbing your
yeah.
information and it's predicting your behavior. You guys don't realize this is sinister shit. You don't know what's
It
going
is.
on.
It is. It is. It is.
You
Well,
don't
and
know.
also
You
when
don't
you're
have a
talking about
clue.
something. And you're talking about something and all of a sudden the ad shows up in your phone or on your Facebook or whatever. That freaked me out the first time that I was like,
You're just
whoa.
barely getting a glimpse of what's being done to you.
I know.
But you're being
I get it.
trained
I
and you're
agree.
training everybody else. Everybody's training everybody else on how to use this technology. And here's what's going to happen. Someday, very soon, you will not be able to get access to goods and services without that
Hmm.
technology. Right now, I have a dispute right now where in my office, if somebody sends me mail, there's this dumbass service called Luxor One that is a new service that they're telling me in order to get my packages, I have to get an account with them. No, I don't. You see, this is where
Hmm.
people don't understand. They talk about freedom all the time. They don't understand. I'm not going to do it because it's convenient. I told them I'm not required to enter into a contract to receive my mail when the sender already entered into a contract with the carrier, and I have a right to rely upon that contract and receive the goods.
Hmm.
I don't have to enter into a new contract, nor do I have to give my identifying information as a condition of that contract. It's a whole different agreement. No, we already have an agreement. The carrier is going to deliver it. It's already insured. Everything's paid for.
Uh-huh.
So no, I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
And it's actually a crime to interfere and impede my access to
Well,
my mail.
that's true. That's 100% true.
Yeah. So I am not going to tolerate that. And I'm the only one in the building and they don't know what to do about it because they're sitting on my mail and they're going to have to cough it up. And I don't care about their dumbass technology. I'm not using my phone to get a picture of my mail so I can go use my phone to open up some locker. So I'm just
Oh my
saying,
gosh.
maybe I'm some old guy that, I just refuse to, do things, but there's a lot more to it than just that. I love technology. I'm a
There
geek.
is. You know what there
But
is? It is
yeah,
the frog in the pot that
yeah.
it starts to just warm it up. Oh, it's just a
Now,
mask.
I'm not
Oh, now
saying
it's just an experimental thing. It's just,
yeah, I'm not saying refuse this just to be a jerk. What I'm saying is wake up and realize what is being done to you. It's already been done to you. Wake up and realize
Mhm,
it. But this technology is not going away, just like the discovery of fire.
mhm,
Okay, once that is discovered, human beings are going to say, "Whoa, where'd you get that from?" If you tell them, "I'm not telling you," or if you say, "I don't know," he's going to go find it. He's going to go find that tree that
mhm,
got hit by lightning, or he's going to keep talking about it until someone else finds it. They're going to discover it. You're not going to get rid of it. It's already been introduced into our
mhm.
society, right? So, what we need to do is understand this technology and start using it. Like the people that first discovered fire. Yeah, I can use it to destroy the village next to us, but I can also use it to build modern society. Let's use it. We have to, but let's not let it
So
be
how can we
used.
use it? How can we use it?
We
What
we
are some things that we can do?
ironically, you can use this technology to get privacy. What the heck is privacy? It's property. Take it back. No one is going to give it to you. You can't get permission. You're not going to get permission. You have to take it back. And sometimes that means lying. Like, for example, if I'm going to set up somebody with some sort of plan, right? Sometimes I show them how to set up something with a fictitious name. It's legal to do that. I'm not committing fraud doing that. I'm restoring some privacy. I'm giving them some property that was taken from them by some other method. So use the technology to, first of all, reestablish your privacy. Guys, get on the dark web. You can use Bitcoin on the dark web for privacy. You can use
Okay,
Bitcoin washing services. You can use Monero.
so I don't know. I don't understand the dark web. I've never been on it.
Okay,
I've
let me
never
give an
seen it.
example.
Can
So I'm
can
gonna
you go onto it online?
Yes, you can. I'm gonna give you
Okay.
a little first I'll give you a word of caution. So be careful on the dark web. It's the .onion domain. Let's just call it that. It's not a .com domain.
Okay.
It's a .onion only. The reason why they use the word onion is because the
The
IP
layers.
address that connects you, yeah, is layered, and it's very difficult to determine the origin of your call into the network, and almost impossible sometimes. But so here's how you do it. You have to get on with an operating system in a browser that's suited for the .onion URLs, the websites. So I'll give you one, Tails, Tails, and it's an acronym. I forget what it means. Something about secret, whatever. Anyways, use a Tails operating system. If you use your regular computer with all your data on there that you normally interact with, like your banking and all this stuff, you're just you're just going to give up your whatever information to whoever's on the dark web waiting for you because
Oh gosh.
when you sign onto the dark web, like I'll give you an example. If you have a browser that's opened fully on your screen, that you just hit that little square and it opens up the browser completely, and you don't
Mhm.
shrink it down a little bit, because your browser is open completely, it gives certain people on the dark web access to your computer. They know all kinds of information just because your browser has filled the screen. So just understand, it's a different world. And if you don't know what you're doing or take some precautions, you could risk the data on your computer. So I just caution you with that. But what you want to do is access the dark web through the Tails operating system. There are other operating systems, but that's a free one you can download. You check it out for yourself. If you download Tails operating system on your on a USB device, for example, and you boot up to that, or you change your boot sequence and you boot up to that, you'll bypass your core operating system. You'll be safe, or just use a different computer. But you can get on the dark web, and it's not like you can't search like a Google. Google's not there, but the dark web is where 95% of the Earth's internet traffic exists. Banking, military, government, you name it. We are not on the dark web mostly. We're the idiots on the surface web. So when you get on the dark web, it's where people actually are serious about maintaining their property rights. Yeah, and some people are protecting their own lives by being on the dark web. For example, a journalist who's blowing the whistle or helping someone else blow the whistle, where his life would be in jeopardy, or his good name or whatever, or his family would be at risk. If he's getting on the dark web, he's able to publish information that's vital for something without risking his life. At the same
Wow.
time, you could do something like buy a dead body, which is completely illegal, right? So you could do anything. People will do anything. So just be aware, it's the Wild West on the dark web, but just the same, why not build a business on the dark web and interact with people in that way? We have the technology right in front of us. We're being mocked and laughed at because we're over here complaining about stuff that doesn't even matter. And look, if
Well,
you guys,
what kind of business would you create on a dark web?
I would do a retail operation. I would sell stuff, retail. I would sell it anonymously, legal products. I would just set up a whole business and I would handle my money transactions privately. I would handle my banking on the dark web. I would not use the banking system. That's what I would use
Oh
the dark
my
web for, is
gosh.
banking. That's where you're going to get your private. You want your monies out of the hands of the Federal Reserve Bank.
Yes.
Our value is represented by Federal Reserve notes. And so they're taxing it.
Yeah.
Stop using the Federal Reserve notes. We have the currency right now. We can use Monero. We can use all kinds of stuff. We have
So you're saying
software.
like Bitcoin, like if you create like a retail business and you're working in Bitcoin on the dark web, people are paying you and nobody's seeing these transactions.
Exactly. And then when you want to go out to the real world and do something, hey, maybe you want to buy CBDCs. You can do that. And I know some of you out there saying, well, yeah, but John, they're going to make it to where it's impossible. Stop. It's software. You can't stop it. You can do whatever you want. You'll see. Okay. But that, I believe, is the solution. Claim your privacy back. Use software that you can use for the privacy. Use it for banking, use it for money, use it for property rights. Why are you recording property rights in the county recorder's office when you can do it on a blockchain? There's blockchains right now. You can record land titles. You can even set
Holy
up your own.
poop.
You can even set up your own court system through arbitration that will be recognized by our existing court system, which is corrupted, completely gone.
Yeah,
It will have
it
no
is.
choice but to go along if you do it the right way. We have a court system, we have legislative. You guys can set up a private association that, let's say, for example, there's a group of professionals, let's say a dozen chiropractors. I was having this conversation the other day. A dozen chiropractors that get together in a city, let's say. And yeah, there may be competitors, but they're so far apart, it's not going to matter. So they set up their own regulatory framework, their own association, their own rules of practice, and they have testing and they have qualifications for membership. The government has no choice but to acknowledge that. Now, these chiropractors can operate without a state license. They can operate because they have a set of rules that qualify them and their competence to do what they're doing. They don't need state licensing. So that's just it takes
I
working
absolutely agree
together.
with that.
Well, I mean, it's a matter
100%.
of law. I mean, it's a matter of law. It's just that people don't do it. A really good business structure, if you go look at this, you'll find out that the government left it alone during Prohibition, was the speakeasy. The speakeasy. Go look it up. If you have a business and you model it in the speakeasy format, you'll be just fine. You can run a
What?
business in that way. It's all over the world. It's being done right now. It's been done for a long, long time. I'll give you another example. there's a couple things I want to tell you guys. So there's there's a multi-trillion-dollar retail market known as Deborah D. Okay, it's this French word for self-reliant or DIY, do it yourself. System D is what they call it. Okay. So what's happening is there's a retail market of consumer goods being sold outside the system of taxation, outside the system of regulatory compliance. And it's so big that governments around the world and corporations have no choice but to comply with whatever it needs. Like if you want to sell into a market, you can't do it legally. You have to do it illegally if you're Procter and Gamble, for example. You will not be able to touch this market in India, for example, and sell laundry detergent unless you do it illegally. And the government will leave you alone because they don't want you to not be there. They want you, they're going to eventually get their taxes, right? But they want the money in the marketplace. So this System D economy, this has been around for decades. I mean, longer than that. I mean, we call it the black market.
Yeah.
It's already there. You guys are way behind. You guys are way behind. Okay. The least educated people on the planet are way ahead of you. You guys have all the technology in America and you're not using it. It's being used against you. And if you think the IRS is bad, I love the IRS. They're the friendliest creditor. And thankfully, they're there counting the beans for the United States. Because if they weren't, oh yeah, that's right, somebody else would be. You can't
Well,
have
that's all corporation though. That's all it's
whatever,
not for the United States
whatever. It
government
doesn't
at
matter
all,
because
you guys.
all I care,
The United States government is bye.
I
It's
understand,
not
but
even a government.
all I care about is the fact that the United States has an accounting function. You have to. Here's your biggest bully. Here's your biggest fraud in the court system. The biggest taker of property. Well, there's two, but I'm just going to talk about one. It's family court, divorce court.
Yeah, we talked a
Okay?
little bit about that.
You guys don't
Yeah.
know the half of it. Let me explain. Divorce court, family court is not about family. They are doing total liquidation of the family estate to prevent the accumulation of wealth, and they're using receivership to do it. You cannot, this would be like if your neighbor owed you $25 and you filed an involuntary bankruptcy against him to collect the $25, the court would say, get out of here, we're not taking your case. It's worse than that in family court, and they're letting them do it. The trial court judges are using receivers to just liquidate the whole property, and they're a lot of times they're not even saying they're using receivership. They're operating in receivership without telling people. It's when the participants say, I'm not disclosing my assets to the court. It's none of your damn business. And no, you can't decide what the custody is for my children. You don't have those rights. I do, because guess what, court? You don't have the liability that I do to my family. You have no liability. You're a corporation. I have all the liability, therefore I have all the authority. See, but parents don't normally do that. They just get on their knees and beg for mercy as if they're the little children and the court's the mommy and daddy, So, and you deserve that comment. You guys should wake up. You're the parents. You're the boss, just like the farmers.
And the biggest part of waking up is realizing these people don't have power over us.
They really don't. And here's
they
why
really don't.
I can tell you this because I'm working with some people now that are very brave, and they've gone through this process and had to end up in jail for contempt. And because they did it, the court had no choice but to reveal its hand and appoint a receiver. It had to appoint a receiver because before that, the judge was acting as the receiver without telling anybody. And you can't act as a receiver unless you're bonded, unless you give notice, unless you accept the reorganization plan, and unless there's a debtor and creditors. Where's the creditor? Where are the debtors? I'm not talking about your mortgage. I'm talking about the marital estate being identified as a debtor. Since when do banks lend mortgages to marital estates? They don't. They lend them to people.
They don't know.
The marital estate is never discussed. But in a family court, they're acting as if the marital estate is the debtor, and they're doing a reorganization or a receivership and liquidating it to pay who? The lawyers, the guardian ad litem, child protective services. They're raiding your family. They're making you think you have to sell your house and all that nonsense. If the court had the authority to require you to sell your house, does it have the authority to require someone to buy it? That should tell you right there that it doesn't have the authority to sell your house. But what they'll do is say, oh, we'll put it in receivership after they threaten you with contempt and all this sort of thing. So what I'm saying is all these mechanisms that you're seeing all around us become very much, let's say, they become very very easy with a currency from which you can't escape with your biometric data. So you can't use the currency, like for example, if the dollar today, if you want to use the dollar and you can't have it unless you give up your retinal image, then basically you're owned, right? Because now your biometric data is connected to the currency, and that's what they want with the central bank digital currency. And so that allows the system of taxation to apply to everything. Like for example, this coffee cup. Okay, this can be taxed. This coffee cup can be taxed.
Yes,
I don't
correct.
know. What's the measure of taxation? It's not income anymore. It's carbon displacement. It's not income. And if you think I'm joking, I'm gonna tell you right now, for the last 20 years, we already have an accounting system in place. It's called renewable energy certificates. Go look it up.
Oh my gosh.
Well, here's what they're doing with that, by the way. So the big corporations are the polluters and the ones destroying the environment. They'll want to continue doing that. And all the dupes that actually believe that climate change is real, that they think that there's actually, you know, a carbon problem, what a bunch of idiots. If you think climate change is real, you got to get your head
Oh
examined.
my God, that
It's
is, I just want to
totally
pause you
fake.
there because
There's no such
oh
thing.
my gosh, when people say that there's a carbon problem, I'm like, what do you guys think that the trees breathe? Like did you know the Cretaceous period had more carbon dioxide than we do
Yes,
now? It
we're in
was
a carbon
massive,
deficit. Yeah,
gigantic trees.
we're in a carbon
They
deficit right
bring
now.
out, yes,
Yep.
they're basically saying you're gonna, let's kill you people by saying that you
Well,
put off too much carbon. It's absolutely ridiculous.
this is how you get the truth. Whenever you see the word carbon when they're talking about this nonsense, replace that with the term human being. That's what they're saying. Let's eliminate
Human being
people.
tax.
That's right. Let's eliminate people. So anyways, that's what's going on. The measure of taxation is going to be the carbon displacement, and you're going to be liable for it. And so is your phone, so is your dog, so is your pool, so is your generator, whatever, your toilet, whatever they want to do. I mean, why do you think they have smart refrigerators, right? Smart appliances, so they can be part of that system of taxation.
So I want to show this really quickly. You were talking about the renewable energy certificate, and this is from United States Environmental, can't read it.
EPA, isn't that funny?
There we
Look
go.
at how that
Environmental
works. See how
Production,
that works?
EPA, wow.
See how that works.
Renewable certificate.
Right.
Is a market-based instrument that represent the property rights to the environment, social, and other non-power attributes and renewable electricity generation.
So what this allows the big corporations to do, they're destroying everything, is to continue doing that while all the chumps out there that think it's real, they start doing things like ride their bike to work to save on gas, and then get an electric car, which is completely dumb. I mean,
oh my gosh,
Teslas are a nuisance. Okay, if your neighbor has a Tesla, you should file a complaint against him for a nuisance, as if he were playing his music
they
loud
cost
all day.
way more money,
They
way more
destroy
money,
everything.
and
you guys have
and
no
not
idea
only
how.
that,
Yeah.
but you actually need, the whole companies that make the electric vehicles need fossil fuels to make them.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's like, oh my
But anyways,
goodness, the
so
whole thing.
the chumps out there trying to do like they think they're doing the right thing and all this, they're the ones that are going to be the chumps in the renewable energy certificates. And what will happen is the big corporations that are the polluters, they will offset their regulatory compliance requirements by obtaining the certificates from the chumps. So you're not going to fix anything. You're gonna willingly give up comforts and conveniences and the efficient use of liquid fuel. You're gonna give that up because it's stupid. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, gas is the future, guys. Methane is the future. It's the past and it's the future.
And not only that, but
technology.
the newer cars have lower emissions. It's like it doesn't even, this whole thing is a sham. The whole thing's a sham.
If you really want to increase keep the environment clean and all this, what they claim, all they got to do is make the internal combustion engine more efficient. You can run an engine, you can get over 1,000 miles per gallon. That's nothing. That was done a long time ago.
They actually had a carburetor that did that in the 50s.
Carburetor. We don't need
90 miles per gallon.
Right.
And then this one company, I can't remember which car company it was, and then they bought the patent, gone.
Yeah. The
Boot it
carburetor will
out.
do it. The carburetor will do it. And you can do it with the 3D printer, guys. You can make a carburetor with a 3D printer. You can make it the exact configuration. And if it doesn't work the way you want, just reconfigure it on the computer and print a new one. Okay. You can make it with high density plastic. You don't even have to make it with steel or metal or anything like that. But I'm just saying, we're talking about the CBDC, right? So look at this is a tool to enslave people as we imagine, but just it's
Yeah.
even more pervasive than you can possibly even think about. And so all you guys out there that hate the IRS and you want to get out of the tax system and you think you want freedom, you don't even know what it is. And you're
Well, we
way
don't. That's
behind.
programmed.
You are
That's a
50 years,
programmed.
you are 50 years
But
behind.
if they're watching this and listening to you,
Yeah.
we're stepping forward in the right direction.
Do
So
it.
give us one
Start
easy
talking.
thing people can do.
Start talking to colleagues, start talking to people that have a similar interest that you do, and come up with ways that you can work together on very simple things. Like your HOA, get rid of the psychopaths, okay? Set up your HOA. So here's very simple. You use your HOA. Let's say you have a neighborhood of your HOA runs a neighborhood of, let's say there's 150 homes, but maybe there's 1,200. Get together with your HOA, get enough people involved, and use your HOA for buying power for supplies, like laundry soap. It's very simple. Why would I do that?
Oh my
Well,
gosh,
okay,
yeah.
maybe I can get a discount on laundry soap, but what I'm really doing is I'm collaborating with my neighbors on something that we can all agree on, right? So when it comes to something that's really important, we could probably reach a consensus real fast. But right
Yeah, it's
now,
working together. It's working
imagine trying to
together.
do that right now. Honestly,
Can't do
think
it.
about it. Could you
Do
get
it.
consensus in your neighborhood to even buy laundry soap, even if everybody's going to
No.
get a discount? I mean, that's a big problem. And so if you're asking me what's the action list, start with that. Start with working with your neighbors on silly shit just like that. Get
And so another one too, if you don't have an HOA, I would like to do for me is because we all have so many things to do, but I like to do at least one action that's a personal action for myself that makes my life a little bit better. And I love this idea of learning about the dark web and learning and doing it in a safe way. So I think that I'm going to take that on for myself, is just exploring it, but not getting on yet, exploring how to keep myself
okay.
safe first.
So get on the dark web just like you would start learning how to use a shortwave radio, a ham radio. So it's the same thing. Communications technology, okay? So learn about the dark web and ham radios. You can do it. The information's out
Those two
there.
things, you guys. That's our
Yeah,
homework.
get your kids together because they're going to be more adept at doing this. And in fact, you'd be surprised. Some of them know way more than you
Oh yeah,
imagine. So
absolutely.
you use your now think about this. If you live in a neighborhood, you are already part of an homeowners association. You don't have to have a corporate bylaws and paper documents and a covenant filed in the county to be a homeowners association. What's your homeowners association? It's everybody who owns a home in your neighborhood. That's your association. Go next door, knock on your neighbor's house. He's in your association. He's associated with you. He lives on your
You
street.
know, this goes back to just getting together with your neighbor,
Yeah.
creating your community. I love it. We definitely have a really amazing community here on the Big Island, and it's gonna even be better because this Hawaii General Plan, which I'm going to be doing a video right after this, is the whole United Nations Agenda 2030 that is absolutely. I mean, like I told you earlier, stakeholders is in there. It's 47 times the word stakeholder. I'm like, who the heck are
Look
these
at their
people?
plan.
What do
Look
they
at
have
their
stake
plan.
in?
Study it and write your own version of that the way you want.
We're
And
gonna
then
do it.
do that plan. Do that plan and ignore theirs. You have all
I
the
love it.
resources. You're the one that's
We
paying for
do.
the plan. Stop.
So if you guys are watching this, let's do it together. You may think, I don't have time. You have time. You
Oh,
can do one action a
yeah,
week, one action
you don't have a
that starts
choice.
to make your life better. And you don't have a
Yeah,
choice because
you don't have a choice.
what is the alternative? The alternative is to take this plan that they just gave us, which is a complete fascist authoritarian plan for the Big Island. I mean, it's not only that, but it's written super poorly. It's like it looks like a first draft, and not only that, but there's a whole. I won't even say it. There's a symbol on there that is a complete occult symbol, which a lot of people just kind of bypass that, but I don't. I that came up for me right away. So if you guys are watching this, we've given you some action steps. Take one thing this week, or even give yourself 2 weeks to do one of these action plans, because I'm all about action. If you don't take action, action will be done for you and to
Yeah,
you by
yeah.
the people that they are the elite governments that own this whole country. This is not a government. This is a United States corporation. It hasn't been a regular government for a very, very long time. So we have to take responsibility for ourselves. It's called our kuleana. Our kuleana is to take responsibility for ourselves and our family, take one action that you've heard here on this video and move forward with it. And John, I just want to say so much mahalo. Is there any last information you want to share? This has been really great.
No, thank you so much. I think that maybe has gotten the message out. Maybe maybe that will help some people. Give us some direction. Thank you.
Yeah. And if you guys have any last questions, let me know. I'm going to do a quick prayer. And but thank you so much. There's just a few people on with us. I am going to be able to live stream on the YouTube channel starting next week. I figured that out, my techie self. But that will be available starting actually starting tomorrow. But we'll probably maybe do it next week with John. All right, let's pray. Great Spirit, infinite intelligence of all things. Just so much gratitude for John's journey and his own awakening to understanding what is the truth and how to help people the most right now in this crazy time. We know this is a game. We all came to play it together, and we stand unified together just by watching these videos and learning one new thing that can support our lives moving toward what is truly ours, which is freedom. Because Great Spirit, we know that our rights came from you, not from our government, but directly from the divine creator that created every single cell in our body, that know how to create our fingers and our toes and our hair. You, Great Spirit, gave us unalienable rights that cannot be taken away by any corporate fiction that calls themselves a government. So, Great Spirit, we are just so grateful to the inspiration and the courage to take these actions, even if it's just researching one thing that people have heard on this video presentation. We just give so much gratitude to all the people who are watching and saying, I'm ready to take a stand for my own freedom. I'm ready to take one action for myself and for my family and from the future, my family's future. The Great Spirit, we just send so much inner strength to anybody right now who feels alone on the planet. We send so much inner power and hope to anybody who needs that spark of hope right now, because we know that this evil empire is slowly dissolving and peaceably being removed from power. And we get to watch as it unfolds and as this planet becomes unified together with one heartbeat, one humanity, one race that we all are, that everyone matters, and that peace is here on the planet, and we call it forth now. And so it is. Mahalo so much, John.
Thank you, Michelle.
All right,
Good
aloha
night.
everyone, and check out aceofcoins.com. Thanks for the impromptu streaming. You got it. And check out also standtogetherhawaii.com. Much aloha, everyone.
All right, bye-bye.